Then, so I organise all the training here for the hotel. All the statutory training we generally outsource. So stuff like fire training, first aid, manual handling, all that's outsourced out of the hotel because it's so technical. It's better to have brought in somebody who's more professional. And then I do all the training in-house, with the exception of some customer service training. Every so often I'll outsource to a company called Optimum. My training that I do here in houses, we have one particular program, it's called Leaders for the Future, that Joanna will explain a bit more to you on. And that's for all the supervisors and future leaders of the hotel, and even for the front office for the heads of department. So at that there's stuff like appraisals, interview, 5 stars at the Fitzwilliam, disciplinary, so anything that leads to, that they're going to need to manage, a hotel. Now they don't learn enough to just become a manager straight away, but they learn just the basics to get them through, say, a disciplinary or an appraisal. And then what we have to do really is practice. The only way to learn anything is by doing it yourself. We do, every so often, we do package training that you'll see here in yellow. This is where the sales manager will come down and talk to all the staff about the packages that are gone up on the websites for the hotel, so that we can keep them all the staff up to date and knowledgeable about them, because of course the only way you can run a hotel is when the staff know exactly what's going on. And she'll do all that training, and she'll do, every so often she'll do show round training just to break it up and do something different. This dark green one here is cross training that we do, and what we do for that is we get all the heads of department get together and they decide what can they teach the staff for 1 hour about their department. So twice a year we do that, and anybody can go to it, so it just gives people a good cross view of what happens in other areas, so the food and beverage guys, the bar manager here will teach them how to make a cocktail. The restaurant manager will teach them how to, say, clear one big table off onto one tray, stuff like that. And then he'll get them to do it. So it's a bit of fun, as well as, because you can imagine somebody who's never waitered before can't stack a tray. So it's just a bit of fun to get people to understand what goes on. And then the chef will teach them to cook. Concierge will show them how to, maybe some of the nice restaurants around town that we use. And reception will do maybe how to check in a guest or something like that, to give people a good overall view. The complaint handling then is for all staff. That's here in the purple, in the oranges. It's for all staff, just to anybody who has to deal with complaints go on that. We have, what else do we have? We have some of these light blue ones are when somebody goes out of the hotel to do training, and then every so often we will bring in a guy from outside maybe to do something that's just different. So this year we did telephone techniques and that kind of stuff, all about how you answer the phone and make sure that you close the sale, because it's all very well answering the phone, but then if you don't close the sale, it's no good. So he's actually coming back then at the end of the year to review what they've learned and to make sure that they actually have put it into practice, because that's a big thing, is about the review and what they've done. And then for the heads of department, then this year we had a motivational speaker, a guy called Marcus Child, came over from the UK, and he was very good. He was a motivation speaker who taught us about you are the best, and was kind of more for your private life, but how it would then bring down into your work life. So that's what he did. Here we issued a new staff handbook to everybody with a safety statement in it this year. So that was like, there was ongoing training to make sure everybody got a copy of that, because the safety attended. We also do here induction for all new starters when they start. That's about 3 hours with me. They will learn all, we go through the staff handbook basically, and they go learn all what goes on in the hotel through that. And then they go off to their own departments and they do training there. And then Joanna will talk about 15-minute training that we do here, which should really happen once or twice a week before you start your shift. They talk for 15 minutes about something that you regularly do in your department. Maybe it might be, what do we need on a reg card? So it's just to recap all the stuff that they've learned all along, to make sure that. Now, in terms of pension funds and all that, we don't have, but we have the PRSA, where they can jump into them if they want to, and we have the VHI is our health care body, and they can join that if they want to. And our big thing here though is the Fitzwilliam is renowned for its training. And what we do with the training is you could be a kitchen porter and we can teach you to be a chef, or we can teach you to be a waiter. And that's a huge big thing that we'll focus on. So we're renowned. I'd say the biggest benefit that's not tangible is the training. Course, and all our staff are empowered at that to deal with our customers. The last thing we want is, hang on a sec while I go and get a manager for you, because by the time the manager arrives, the guest has got more agitated. So all our staff are empowered, so they will do what they feel necessary to look after the customer's key. So they will try not to, of course, allow too much money off, but they'll allow, say, they might give breakfast free or car parking free, or offer them cocktails here in the bar, vouchers for that. And then if it's a really bad complaint, then of course it'll go to the general manager and he'll allow them give a free room or whatever. We empower them to, we have SOPs, but we don't follow them rigidly. If you look at some large group of hotels, like Hilton, Radisson and all that, they do the same everywhere you go. So it's very hard for staff to be themselves if they have to follow a script. We don't have a script here. They're allowed to be themselves, and that's a huge big thing for us. We don't employ for technical ability. It's completely all about attitude and making sure that they're right fit for the hotel, and that they have good attitude, and that they can look after the customer. And then after that we will train them in how to check in and check out, or move bags, or like our housekeeping is outsourced. That's something you should know. We outsource it to a company called East Coast, and their maids are here nearly longer than our staff, so they really are part of our team. So when we have Christmas parties or any events that we organise during the year, they will come along to all those, as much the same as any other staff. So whilst they're an agency, they're not an agency in the strict terms of things.
So they're all your staff treated the same?
All our staff, yeah, absolutely. And we have a hierarchy, like you can't run a hotel if you don't have a general manager, and then there's 4 senior managers, myself, the sales director, the resident manager, and the financial controller. But we don't behave like that. It's not like I'm not Mrs. Trevetta or anything like that. They call me Anne, and they call Fergal unless there's a guest around, and then they adopt him. He's Mr. O'Connor, but I'm still Anne if there's a guest around. And we try and keep it like that way. If we do organise day trips and stuff like that, we try and do something cultural. So I've been here 5 years. We probably had 3 day trips in those 5 years. We didn't do anything this year. But in the past, what we've done is done stuff like Glendalough and Newgrange. And the reason we go to them is, I remember from old school trips, learning all about them. And the reason we go to them with the staff now is to give them, there's a lot of foreign staff here, so just to give them a good picture of what Ireland's all about. And most of them probably have been there 100 times compared to the Dublin girls, but it gives them a good chance to see a bit of what Ireland is about, as well as just walking out the Fitzwilliam and knowing here.
The atmosphere by itself, it's more flexible, like you can relax. You don't need to be so strict. Obviously, you need to do your job. Yes, you need to do your job in a professional way, but at the same time, you have got the time to chill out, smile. This is the most important for ourselves, like to smile like a minute. This is one of our 5-star hotel, like a signature, because like when you're smiling to the guests, to yourself, you will always have a positive atmosphere, positive like energy, etc. If you start to be grumpy, bring your own personal life into the work, always something will happen. Guests will capture that, management will capture. So what else? Opportunity to progress in your career as well. Like for example, myself, I started from receptionist. Now I'm supervisor, but in the same time I'm duty manager as well here already. I have many trainings which other hotels I don't think so that they are giving to the staff. Like for example, I have a first aid training, which I love to do it because I'm not afraid of anything, you know. Like we had a lot of like obviously everybody starts from the induction training, which you need to get familiar with the hotel, property, etc. We have got a lots of like the telephone techniques, customer training techniques. Well, so many of them, but I can't even imagine, like, you know, to count it all. We have got our private induction, like internal training, which we are on creating by ourselves. Like for example, I'm responsible for doing the 15 minutes training for every single person, like in the front office, to get like, you know, be kind of on top of everything, all information. So the bedrooms, the reservations, the hotel by itself, which is quite handy, especially for the new stuff. And I'm training the new stuff as well, so. Always. Yeah. They're quite good because like, I used to work in certain hotels, which you were so afraid to ask them about anything, that you get paralyzed and you were just like, okay, I'll better not ask. Yeah. Here you can always ask, even the general manager, which is Mr. O'Connell, if you're stuck with something, he will always ask you like, what's up? How can I help you? Yeah. You know, so you actually feel relaxed, and you know that there is no barrier between you and the other ones. So I think it's great.
Good overall. Thank you. Really
very much.